Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Fundamentals of English Language and Literature Teaching, which is a part of the paper number 10 of semester 3 of MA English Part 2. Today, we shall be dealing with the topic Aims and Objectives of Teaching English under Unit 1. Aims are the direct outcome and the purpose for which language is taught. The aims determine the preparation of the textbooks and the method of teaching. The general aims of teaching English in India are to develop the basic skills of language, listening, speaking, reading, and writing English. Under aims and objectives, we have first of all the goals of education system. Goals are always wider and they are from the system side. For example, the expectation of the society from the education system as a whole can become the goal of the system. The second is the aim. Aims are from the teacher's side. When a teacher asks a question, why am I teaching this lesson to my students? Automatically we get the answer as the aim of it. The aim of teaching poetry is to appreciate poem, to identify the figures of speech, to analyze the poem, and to interpret the poem and write a summary of the poem. So the moment we ask a question, why am I teaching this lesson? Automatically the teacher will get the aim of teaching that particular topic. The third interesting part is the objective. Objectives are always from the learner's side. If aims are from the teacher's side, goals are from the system side, objectives are from the learner's side. What is the output from the student after he or she is taught this lesson? If you look into your syllabus document, you can have the aims written there, the objectives of teaching the paper, and also the learner outcome. The objectives and the learner outcome. Learner outcome is in what way the learner is going to be benefited after this particular topic or unit or the entire syllabus is taught. The modern education system is outcome-based education system. Outcome is more important. It is not the aim, but it is the objective that is more important. Aims and objectives always go hand in hand with each other. If we look at the education system as a whole, it has got 4 important modules. The very first module is based upon the socio-political and economic system of the country. The socio-political and economic system of a country decides the education system in order to achieve the expectations of the society and the expectation of the country as such. This is called the macro level of the system, which has a number of goals to achieve. So far as India is concerned, the goals of the system have been stated in the Indian Constitution. And as a result of this, the education system, which is the second module, is developed. This second module is designed according to the goals. The goals decided by the Constitution can be achieved by the members of the same system. The people in the system should be equipped with certain intellectual, moral, ethical traits so as to achieve the goals. They must have certain civic traits, vocational abilities, and the interactional abilities to deal with other people. The strength of character, and also must have certain personal and individual genius to conform, skills to develop, so that the improvement and the transformation of the existing social order can be achieved. The system that aims at producing and developing such people, which are skill-based, ability-based, outcome-based, is what is called as the education system. In India, the Ministry of Human Resource Development, the HRD Ministry, which is now renamed as the Ministry of Education, operates at this level. While socio-economic political level has goals, the educational level has aims, as a result of which the third module, the pedagogic system, evolves. The pedagogical system attempts to implement the policies established at the education system. The system creates curriculum, syllabi for implementation at the level of instruction. The pedagogical system has objectives based on which the syllabi are constructed. Accordingly, we have the instructional system, which is the fourth system that is operational. The instructional system has got the curriculum created at the pedagogical level and that is implemented and taught at the classroom level in schools and colleges. And hence will have the performance objectives. So each lesson we teach in the class, each unit we study in the class will have a performance objective. Thereby, the classroom teaching comes under this pedagogical instructional system. So, if you look at the education system as a whole, the education system in any country can be represented through this diagram. Number one, it has got the socio-politico-economic system, which has the goals that are stated in the constitution, according to which the education system, the second module, is developed. The education system will have certain aims to be achieved, and the intellectual, civic, economic, vocational, values, along with the human relations in the society with moral, ethical, personal, and self-realization could be the possible points to be pondered upon, based upon which the education system is developed. Accordingly, this educational system will give rise to the third system called the pedagogical system, which will have the program and the course. We need to distinguish between program and course here. Program is the programs that we have been passing through. BA is a program, MA is a program, BSc, BCom, BCS are programs, BTech is a program, BE and MBBS are programs which will lead to the issue of the degree on completion. Now, each program will have different courses that are given to you. The courses in MA program, the courses that you studied last year would be the modern English structure with phonetics as one paper and grammar as another paper. Then we have American literature, British literature with various periods, Indian writing in English, Indian translation studies, the course that you are studying, English language and literature teaching, all these are the courses that you learn. Indian poetics, ELLT, American literature, Commonwealth literature, British literature, all these are the courses under the program of MA English. So, pedagogical system will have the programs which will give you the degrees along with a number of courses to achieve the objectives of teaching it. The fourth system is the instructional system. The instructional system is how these programs are executed in the schools and colleges, with the units of study and each unit with different lessons and each lesson to be taught every day in the classroom situation. Like the program of MA English has got one course called English Language and Literature Teaching, and today we are dealing with the aims and objective lesson of the unit number 1 to achieve the objective of making you understand what the aims and objectives of teaching English in the Indian situation are. Did you understand? So all these are interrelated, and once the performance objectives are achieved for each lesson or each unit, on the administration of the entire course along with the program, automatically we realize the goals of the socio-political economic system of the country. So this is a cyclical fashion which starts with goals, goes to aims, then objectives, and then performance objectives. Once all the performance objectives are achieved, we also achieve the goals of designing this system. So the educational system with socio-political system, educational system, pedagogical system, instructional system and classroom system, all these work together in coordination in order to realize the aims, objectives and thereby realize the goals of the system as such. Did you understand the difference between goals, aims and objectives? Goals have got a wider perspective from the system point of view. Aims have got a narrower perspective from the teaching point of view, and objectives are still narrower from the learner's point of view. All the three work hand in hand in order to achieve the outcome of the education system. And hence, you could find P. Gurey writes, I quote, in teaching of English, it is highly desirable to know exactly what one is hoping to achieve. If this can be clearly seen, then the best way of getting to work usually becomes evident. We ought therefore to consider carefully what we are trying to do when we are teaching English. Hence, aims and objectives play a very important role in teaching English language. Proper aims and objectives help to evaluate the students' performance properly. Let's start looking at the aims of teaching English. The aims of teaching English need to focus on language development and literary development of the language. These two components, language and literature, these two components differ from each other as far as the class and age of the students is concerned. While teaching, a teacher has to keep in mind the aims and objectives of the course study. In other words, teaching of any subject becomes much effective when the teacher is fully conscious of the aims and objectives of teaching that particular subject. The primary aim of teaching English is to enable the students master the basic skills of language ability, namely listening, speaking, reading, and writing, which are abbreviated as LSRW. Of these, we understand that listening and reading are passive skills because they are concerned with the individual self. Whether you are able to comprehend the listened material, whether you are able to comprehend the read material, depends upon your own self. And you yourself can judge it. So it is passive. Whereas speaking and writing, the other two skills, are active skills because they can be measured, they can be judged, they can be tested. Whether you can speak or not, whether you can write or not. And so our examination system is the active skill based. Remember, the active skills like speaking and writing can be practiced and emphasized only if you are a good listener and a good reader. So, the passive skills automatically give rise to the active skills. Development of all the four, the passive as well as active skills, the listening, speaking, reading, and writing, is the most important aim of teaching English to the students in the Indian continent. By listening skill, the ability to understand the spoken English. By speaking skill, we mean the ability to speak English correctly. By reading skill, we mean the ability to read English properly. And by writing skill, we mean the ability to write English effectively. The objectives of teaching English would be to enable to listen English with proper understanding, includes recognition of English speech sounds without committing any errors, and the ability to understand the spoken English. The second is to enable to speak English fluently. It means that producing sounds with proper stress and intonation. It includes the ability to speak clearly and audibly. The third is to enable the students to read English texts, comprehend and interpret them. It includes the ability to read and understand various genres of literature such as prose, poetry, drama, novel, and so on. The fourth is to enable the students to write English correctly and appropriately. It includes the ability to choose the right words and sentences in writing letters, applications, descriptions in guided composition, followed by free composition. It also includes the ability to use planning, drafting, and editing to improve a piece of writing. Number 5, to enable to acquire knowledge of other essential components of language. And number 6, the objective will be to enable the students to express in English creatively and imaginatively. There are a number of sub-skills related to each skill of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The objective of teaching English in India as a second language is to achieve the development of these skills among the students. The sub-skills of listening are to distinguish the characteristics of English speech sounds, to understand different stress and intonation patterns, guessing at unknown words or phrases, understanding speakers' intentions, using previous knowledge for better understanding, and recognizing discourse markers and cohesive devices used in speech, and thereby understand completely whatever is spoken to him. A learner should be in a position to listen and understand everything that he listens to, is the development of listening skill. The second skill is speaking. The sub-skills of speaking are to produce various sounds and clusters of sounds, to use proper stress patterns, pauses, and intonation to express different emotions, to use appropriate words and sentence patterns, to speak intelligibly with different people, and to use different speech patterns in formal as well as informal situations, so that we can say that the student has picked up the speaking skill effectively. The third skill is called as reading skill. The sub skills of reading are: read the passage silently and fast with comprehension, to recognize words and phrases in the English language, using previous knowledge to understand the text, to understand the central idea of the passage, to locate keywords, key phrases, and key sentences present in the passage, to guess the meaning of new words in the context, to locate keywords and guess the meaning, extracting the information using skimming and scanning, and give a suitable title to the passage. You must have done and tested all these skills almost in your school level as well as in the 12th standard level. And similarly are the sub skills of writing: to write grammatically correct sentences, to use appropriate words, phrases, and sentence patterns, to follow a logical sequence in writing, to organize writing in paragraphs, to avoid unnecessary repetition, and to write with correct spelling and punctuation marks are the important sub skills of writing. Throughout our school education and college education, as a compulsory language, English is taught in order to pick up these skills and sub skills of the language. We need to understand the difference between foreign language and a second language in this context. A foreign language would mean that if a language is taken up as a certificate course or a diploma or an advanced diploma course and studied as a language of interest by the learner for a period of 6 months to a few years for obtaining proficiency in the language, then it is called as a foreign language. In India, for example, learning German, learning French, learning Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, or any language other than the Indian is a foreign language. A student needs to develop or learn foreign language, maybe for his career purposes or for his job purposes or out of interest. These languages exactly are not obligatory in the school and college curriculum. The learner learns a foreign language out of interest. Like the Department of English, as you know, of Yeshwant College offers the foreign languages like French, Spanish, and Japanese. Interested students can definitely learn the language as a certificate course for 6 months. But a second language would mean that the language is learned as a compulsory subject at the school level and the college level. Like English is not our language, but we all of us in India learn English compulsorily at the school level right from first standard till our graduation second year as a compulsory subject. So English in India is a second language, not a foreign language. In India, English is a second language, but French or German is a foreign language. Many countries opt to have English also as a foreign language, as we see in Korea, Japan, China. They learn English as a foreign language. They don't have English at a compulsory level in their school and college curriculum. But in India, we have the mother tongue, along with it, the national language called Hindi, and also English as compulsory subjects. Ever since Kothari Commission, every child in India should learn 3 languages at least, with the minimum education system processed through. Even the new education policy also emphasizes on the 3 language formula and the development of English as a compulsory subject. Of the 4 major skills of learning a language, listening and reading are passive skills, as we said, and writing and speaking are active skills. Despite of many efforts taken by the educationists, syllabus framers, teachers, and institutional heads in the second language learning situations, majority of the students struggle hard to find the right expression in their written and spoken form of English communication. However, all the 4 skills of listening, speaking, reading, writing are to be interrelated and developed simultaneously. A course in English literature should also concentrate on improving the language proficiency, apart from improving literary competence of learners. Along with the training the learners in mastering the literary content of the syllabus, efforts are to be taken to improve their listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills, along with the study skills and dictionary skills to strengthen their critical sensibilities. So, the English syllabi should help the learners develop their communication skills and sharpen their literary sensibilities as well, because our important aim and objective of teaching English in India is to develop the four skills. I hope you have understood the aims and objectives of teaching English in India and enjoyed the presentation. Stay tuned for the next video. Bye for now.